Have you ever wondered if the true spirit of Christmas has been lost amid the noise of festivities, rampant shopping, and social expectations? It seems that modern Christmas has turned into a race against time, an unending quest for perfect gifts and flawless selfies. But what if we are celebrating in the wrong way? If the Stoics, those wise individuals who dedicated their lives to balance, virtue, and serenity, had something to teach us about Christmas, would you listen? It may seem strange to mix such an ancient philosophy with a modern celebration. After all, what could Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius possibly have to do with decorated trees and Christmas carols? But here's the secret. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy for difficult times. It is a compass that can guide us in all areas of life, including how we celebrate our most cherished traditions. Now, imagine rediscovering Christmas from a completely new perspective, one where the focus is on genuine gratitude, simplicity, and human connection, rather than piles of wrapping paper or tables overflowing with excess. A Christmas where every gesture holds meaning and every moment becomes an invitation for reflection and virtue. Does that sound difficult? Perhaps. But the reward? A lighter, truer, and above all, more human Christmas. If you feel something is missing amid the lights and hustle, this journey might be the answer. Because in the end, Christmas is not about what we have, but about who we become. Throughout the following steps, you will discover how a Stoic perspective can transform not only your Christmas feast, but your entire way of living. Imagine you are seated at a beautifully decorated table, surrounded by laughter, hugs, and plates filled with festive delights. But deep down, you feel an inexplicable emptiness. It seems that something essential has been lost among the twinkling lights and the frenzy of shopping. This is where the Stoics enter as silent mentors, offering a transformative perspective. For them, Christmas is not about external things, but about cultivating virtue and recognizing the true essence of life. Seneca, for example, would remind us that gratitude is the greatest gift we can give ourselves and others. Instead of focusing on materialism, he would say that Christmas is an opportunity to practice genuine generosity, one that doesn't need labels or price tags. Epictetus, ever practical, would question, what is truly under your control this Christmas? Perhaps it's not the decorations, the feast, or even the reactions of those around you, but rather your serenity in the face of situations. He would encourage us to reflect on how we can maintain a spirit of gratitude and simplicity, despite the rush and thwarted expectations. After all, a table filled with kindness and patience is worth more than any lavish banquet. If something goes wrong, and it always does, your choice to react with serenity will be a true Stoic gift for both yourself and others. And what would Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, say? He would likely close his eyes for a moment and reflect on how Christmas serves as a reminder of our transience. Family unity, warm hugs, shared smiles. All of these are part of life's natural flow, which we cannot control. To him, true celebration would involve living each moment with harmony and presence, recognizing that every instant is a gift. How about instead of focusing on what's lacking, we contemplate what is right in front of us with gratitude and detachment? You know that tradition of exchanging gifts? The Stoics would reinterpret it as a sharing of virtues. Imagine that instead of an expensive item, you give someone a genuine act of kindness. This approach not only saves money but also enriches the spirit. It doesn't mean abandoning traditions but rather giving them a deeper significance. Think of the satisfaction that arises from giving something intangible, like time, patience, or understanding. How about transforming that simple, Merry Christmas into an opportunity to create real human connection? As we reflect on the Christmas spirit, the Stoics invite us to practice silence. Not the silence of someone with nothing to say, but that which comes from contemplation. Amid the relentless noise of festivities, finding moments to look within can be revolutionary. How about dedicating a few minutes to reflect on how you've lived so far and how you can align your actions with your values? It's not about perfection, but progress. After all, Christmas, according to the Stoics, is less about what's outside and more about what's within. And as we dive into these reflections, it's impossible not to think about how to apply these ideas in our daily lives. What would a Christmas look like where every choice, from what to place on the table to how to react to the chaos of festivities, reflected virtues such as kindness, generosity, and self-control? This question paves the way for the next step: Reinterpreting modern traditions through the philosophical lens of the Stoics. Consider how Christmas traditions have evolved over time. Today, the illuminated storefronts, grand feasts, and piles of presents seem to make up the basic kit for celebration. But if we pause to look through a Stoic lens, what truly matters? Seneca, with his vision of simplicity and virtue, would invite us to see Christmas decorations as something more than consumer goods. To him, each light twinkles to remind us of the beauty found in the simple. Perhaps the star atop the tree is a reminder that our inner light is the true guide in times of darkness. Now imagine Epictetus observing a Christmas dinner with a critical yet compassionate eye. He would undoubtedly point out that, while we strive to create the perfect table, we often forget the most important thing: to enjoy the moment without excess or social pressure. How about swapping luxury for something more authentic? He would say, be moderate. Enjoy, but without attachment. Do you really need that extra dessert or that additional decoration on the tree? Perhaps the true luxury lies in a table where gratitude and human connection are the main courses. And Marcus Aurelius? He would likely think about gifts in a philosophical way. To him, it is not the object itself that matters, but the intention behind the exchange. When was the last time you gave something that truly reflected how you feel about someone? It doesn't have to be expensive or elaborate. It could be a gesture, a handwritten letter, or even the commitment to spend quality time with that person. A material gift is fleeting. A gesture of virtue is eternal. Marcus would encourage us to rethink our gifts as symbols of family unity and human connection. Now, if we look at the Christmas dinner, we see a perfect setting for practicing Stoic moderation. It's not about avoiding pleasure, but enjoying it in a balanced way. Seneca could inspire us to transform the table into a space of unity and serenity, rather than excess. How about including simple dishes made with love, or perhaps starting a reflective conversation during the meal, bringing a touch of transcendence to the gathering? After all, it's not about how much you have on the table, but how much you share in spirit that truly matters. And what about Christmas music? It also has its philosophical role. Epictetus would remind us to appreciate it as a moment to connect hearts, not just background noise for distractions. Choose a song that touches your soul and make it a moment of contemplation. As you listen, allow yourself to reflect on what Christmas means to you and how you can carry that feeling forward. It's an opportunity to practice serenity amidst the hustle and bustle, using music as a vehicle for inner harmony. These traditions, when viewed through Stoic eyes, gain new significance. It's as if every detail of the modern celebration invites us to exercise virtues and find purpose amid chaos. But is it possible to put all this into practice in a real Christmas? The Stoics would say yes, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. Imagine, for a moment, an unusual scenario. Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius sitting around a table. There are no gifts scattered around, no rush to unwrap packages or exchange hurried greetings. Instead, there's silence, reflection, and a deep conversation about the true meaning of Christmas. What can we learn from this philosophical Christmas? Perhaps the idea that the greatest gift we can give and receive is the practice of virtue. They would ask, how can we make Christmas a reflection of our highest values? This is a question that goes far beyond celebration, touching on the essence of how we live. Seneca might suggest that, instead of giving expensive gifts, we share reflections that inspire. How about gathering writings or thoughts that can enrich the spirit of your loved ones? It could be a passage from an inspiring book, like the classic Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, or even your own words expressing gratitude and kindness. This exchange of ideas becomes in itself a gift that transcends the material, connecting souls on a deeper level. Epictetus would lead us to consider our control over our reactions during the festivities. Imagine that typical family conflict that arises during dinners, something that, let's be honest, happens in the best of families. He would tell us that, in the face of any provocation or misunderstanding, we have the choice to respond with serenity. How about practicing reflective silence before responding? Or using patience as a shield against the stress of celebrations? These are small exercises in self-control that can transform the dynamics around us. Meanwhile, Marcus Aurelius would bring his vision of transcendence to the event. He would encourage us to look beyond the feast, the decorations, and the rituals. For him, Christmas would be a miniature of life, fleeting, full of hidden meanings, and a unique opportunity to live in harmony. What if, during the celebration, we reserved a few minutes for a moment of collective silence, closing our eyes, breathing deeply, and reflecting on how we can carry the lessons of this night into the rest of the year? Wouldn't that be a simple yet profoundly transformative gesture? Another point would be to reinterpret traditions. The Stoics might, for example, turn the candles and lights of Christmas into a symbol of our own quest for virtues. Each lit candle could represent a commitment, kindness, patience, moderation, or any other virtue we wish to cultivate. And how about sharing this with those present? It could be a ritual that unites people around a greater purpose, giving Christmas a much deeper meaning. When we imagine this scenario, we realize that a Stoic Christmas is not a distant or impossible idea. It is, in fact, a call to simplify, reflect, and act with intention. And by taking that first step, we open the door for the Christmas spirit to manifest more authentically in our lives. But how do we connect this with Stoic virtues in our daily lives? That's what we will continue to explore. Have you ever stopped to think about how Christmas is a unique opportunity to exercise Stoic virtues? While many see it as a time for external celebrations, the Stoics would view it as fertile ground for internal cultivation. Kindness, for example, could be the most meaningful gift we give this time of year. Imagine reaching out to someone facing difficulties, whether through a gesture of charity, a word of support, or simply being genuinely present for someone in need. Seneca would remind us that acts of kindness don't require wealth, just pure intention and generosity of heart. Epictetus, with his practical view, might challenge us to practice self-control during the festivities. Think about the temptation to consume more than we need, from excess food to impulse buying often driven by social pressures. He would tell us that true control lies in choosing enough. How about practicing moderation by planning a simpler Christmas? Instead of extravagant tables, a dinner focused on what is truly necessary, celebrating the act of sharing in harmony. Marcus Aurelius would emphasize the importance of emotional courage during this period. It's common to face pressures for everything to be perfect, the ideal decor, the perfect gift, the unforgettable night. But he would remind us that perfection is an illusion. True courage lies in accepting what life offers us, dealing with the unexpected with serenity. How about cultivating gratitude for what is within our reach, rather than worrying about unrealistic expectations? And if we think about the practice of patience, Christmas can be a true test. Whether in traffic, long lines, or family gatherings, patience is constantly challenged. Epictetus would advise us to see these situations as opportunities for growth. The next time you feel impatient, try taking a deep breath, reminding yourself that it's a fleeting moment, and use that pause to reflect on what truly matters. Another crucial virtue, gratitude, shines especially bright during this season. Often we focus on what we lack instead of valuing what we already have. How about starting a personal gratitude tradition at Christmas? It can be something simple, like listing 3 things you are grateful for before going to bed. This practice not only aligns you with the Christmas spirit, but also strengthens your inner serenity and harmony. The Stoics would see Christmas as a practical exercise in virtues, a moment to align our actions with our values. As we explore these ideas, a larger reflection emerges. How can we take these practices beyond Christmas and apply them to our daily lives? This is something the Stoics would consider essential, and it's exactly what we will look at in the next step. For many people, Christmas is synonymous with family reunions and celebrations. But for the Stoics, this gathering goes beyond simply being together. It's an opportunity to strengthen bonds and cultivate virtues. Epictetus would remind us that family life, with all its complexities, is a perfect training ground for patience and understanding. After all, it is in our closest interactions that our limits are tested. When that aunt insists on asking about your personal life, or when differing opinions arise at the table, wouldn't that be a chance to practice self-control? The Stoics would say that, in those moments, you are exercising your ability to maintain harmony. Seneca, with his focus on gratitude and generosity, could inspire us to view family gatherings as unique moments to express love and mutual support. Think about how many times we fail to tell our loved ones how much they mean to us. Why not take this Christmas as an opportunity to start deeper conversations, where you acknowledge and thank each person around you for something they have brought into your life? It's a simple gesture, but one with a lasting impact that resonates with the virtue of kindness. And what about Marcus Aurelius? For him, family unity at Christmas would symbolize something even greater: the interconnectedness of all humanity. He would see the Christmas table as a miniature version of the larger cosmic community, where every act of generosity echoes beyond the present moment. How about looking at your family, with all its differences and challenges, as a reflection of life's complexity? Marcus Aurelius would say that by harmonizing our closest relationships, we are contributing to universal harmony. Family life also offers us the chance to practice the virtue of detachment. This doesn't mean distancing ourselves emotionally, but rather not letting unrealistic expectations ruin the experience. It's natural to wish for everything to be perfect, from the dishes served to the interactions among family members. But the Stoics teach us that by accepting people as they are, with their virtues and imperfections, we find serenity. Perhaps that cousin who always arrives late or the relative who enjoys controversy can be seen as opportunities to practice patience and understanding. Another interesting point is how Christmas can be a time to revitalize traditions that bring the family closer. Imagine introducing a ritual that reflects Stoic virtues, such as a sharing circle where everyone expresses something they are grateful for from the past year. Or how about taking time to listen to the life stories of the elders, reconnecting generations? These practices not only strengthen family ties, but also leave a legacy of values for younger members. When we look at Christmas through this Stoic lens, we realize that family unity is not just an event, but a continuous practice of virtue. And as we reflect on how to experience this more deeply, an even broader question arises. How can silence and contemplation help us extract the best from these experiences? That's what we will explore next. Amidst laughter, music, and gift exchanges, Christmas can also be a moment of pause, a space for silence and contemplation. For the Stoics, silence is not merely the absence of words, but a path to hear what truly matters: our own mind and heart. Seneca would say that silence is an act of courage in a noisy world, especially during Christmas when society seems to push us towards constant euphoria. So why not reserve a moment to contemplate the stars in the sky, the flame of a candle, or simply the rhythm of your breath? This small act can bring a serenity that transforms how you experience the rest of the festivities. Epictetus, ever practical, would see silence as an opportunity for internal alignment. He might suggest something simple, like a minute of meditation before starting Christmas Day. Imagine sitting in a quiet corner, closing your eyes, and reflecting on what you truly hope for that day. Not the gifts or the feast, but the essence: gratitude, unity, generosity. This not only helps calm the mind, but also provides clarity to face challenges that may arise, from kitchen mishaps to unexpected family conflicts. Marcus Aurelius, on the other hand, would encourage us to use silence to contemplate something greater than ourselves. Christmas, according to him, could serve as a reminder of our connection to the universe and our role in something much larger than our own desires or worries. How about, during a moment of silence, thinking about how your actions today can impact others? From a smile offered to a neighbor, to a word of support to someone going through difficulties, everything resonates beyond the occasion, but silence can also be shared. Imagine gathering your family or friends for a brief moment of reflection before the feast. It could be an invitation for everyone to think about what they value most this year, or what they hope to build in the next. This moment of collective introspection can strengthen bonds and give new meaning to the celebrations. It's not about turning Christmas into a religious ceremony, but rather bringing a touch of transcendence to the event. And how would it be to incorporate contemplation into the Christmas season? Perhaps when you look at the twinkling lights, you see not just decorations, but a reminder that even the smallest spark can illuminate the darkness. Or maybe, when you hear a Christmas carol, you perceive the harmony of the notes as a reflection of the harmony we seek in our lives. The Stoics teach us that every moment is an opportunity to contemplate the beauty of life, even in the simplest things. As we practice silence and contemplation, Christmas ceases to be merely an external celebration and transforms into an internal journey, a journey that prepares us to face what lies ahead with more virtue and resilience. And speaking of what lies ahead, there is something more to explore: how to apply all these teachings to transform not just Christmas, but life itself. And now, what will you do with everything you've just learned? Could this be the perfect moment to rethink how you celebrate Christmas and perhaps even how you live your life? Stoicism teaches us that every choice, no matter how small, can bring us closer to or further away from virtue. Have you noticed that Christmas is an incredible opportunity to practice kindness, gratitude, patience, and detachment? Are you ready to do things differently this year? Take a moment to think. What truly matters to you? Is it the sparkle of the lights, or the light you can ignite in the hearts of those around you? Are the presents under the tree more important than the genuine presence of those you love? It's possible that you've never paused to reflect on these questions, but now that you have Stoic tools at your disposal, you can start transforming your life and the lives of those around you. Are you willing to apply these ideas? To practice gratitude before you sleep? To replace an expensive gift with an authentic gesture? To value moments of silence to contemplate what really matters? These are simple changes, but they can resonate far beyond Christmas. And this is just the beginning. Imagine what could happen if you carried these teachings forward into every day of the year. What if I told you there's an even more comprehensive way to understand and apply Stoicism in your life? That's exactly what the ebook Stoic Mindset offers. Inside, you'll find not only reflections, but detailed practices to overcome anxiety, develop resilience, and live with greater purpose. Not just at Christmas, but through any challenges life throws your way. Click the link to secure your copy and start your transformation right now. Oh, and before I forget, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep learning how philosophy can transform your life. Together, we can build a community of people living with more serenity, balance, and human connection. So, are you ready to take the first step?